My name is Krista Block, and this is your tutorial for tripod headstand. We're going to work on a few ways to train our body to come into the shape, and we are also going to work on the headstand itself. So let's get started. To start, let's come onto our backs. So come to lie down. You're going to bend your knees, plant the soles of the feet onto the floor. Inhale, hug the right knee towards your chest, flex through the foot. You're going to cross the right ankle right above the left knee. Take your hands through your leg and to the outside of the leg. And you can either grab behind the left thigh or, if possible, reach around to the front of the left shin. And begin to hug the left knee in as you press the right knee away from you. Just going to wave the hips up. Sending your breath into the hips, letting your upper body be nice and relaxed. And drop the left foot down to the floor. Take a hold of the right foot on either side. As you inhale, begin to extend the leg straight. If the leg doesn't straighten out all the way, that's totally fine. Just warming up. Release the right foot down to the earth. Other side. So flexing the left foot, hug the knee towards the chest. Cross the left ankle above the right knee. Begin to hug both knees in towards your chest. Take the left hand through the hole you've made with your left leg, and either take a hold of behind the thigh, or you can wrap around the right shin. Press the left knee away from you as you hug the right thigh in. We're just warming the hips and the hamstrings up before we start, because we tend to hold quite a bit of tension here. So if we can let that go and get some energy moving through our lower body, it becomes nice and light, which will assist us when we start to go upside down. Place the right foot back into the floor. Take a hold of the left foot from either side. And inhale, we can just straighten out the left leg. No worries if the leg is not straighten all the way. Just trying to get some energy moving through the backs of the legs. Place the left foot down to the earth. Hug both knees into the chest. Give them a very tight squeeze. And then inhale, rock up. So we're going to start with a little bit of core work. And it may not seem very relevant to headstand in the beginning, but I promise you it is quite relevant, as you need a lot of abdominal strength to lift your hips and your legs overhead. So we're going to start with Navasana boat pose. So come to balance on your sit bones. First option, you're going to lift the legs up with the shins parallel to the floor. If there's any lower back pain, put your forearms onto the floor for support. If this feels nice and you want a little bit more of a challenge, inhale, extend the legs straight. Roll the inner thighs down towards the floor, draw the shoulder blades down the spine, take a deep inhale. Exhale, lower down, come into Ardha Navasana. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 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 And come onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest. Begin to rock and roll front to back, front to back. Eventually, bringing the palms to the floor in front of the feet and stepping or jumping back to downward facing dog. So take a moment here to pedal the heels down towards the floor. Maybe you drop the knees side to side. You warm up through the backs of the legs. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Make sure that the feet are hip width distance apart. Take a hold of opposite elbows and then just ragdoll over the legs. So nice and heavy. You can sway side to side. Loosen up through your spine. Optional, you can take your hands, place them onto the backs of the calves, and as you exhale, press into the calves to reach your face closer towards your shins. And if this feels good and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can reach your hands through your legs, crossing at the wrists, and take a hold of opposite shin bones. So just encourage the nose to come through the shins. soft bend into the knees. And inhale. Slowly roll up. One vertebrae at a time. Come up to stand. So we have one more little bit of core work left. And for this exercise, you're going to use a blanket. If you don't have a blanket, you can just use really fuzzy socks. They work the same. So take your blanket or your socks and put them onto a hardwood floor, something where it can slide pretty easily. So I'm going to do this sideways so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to do a modified version of straight arms RA pretty much using this blanket. So to start, inhale, the arms reach overhead. Exhale, with a long spine, fold forward, bring your hands to the earth. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, you're going to lift onto the balls of the feet. Press the feet back so you just slide on the wood floor. Bend your elbows, Chaturanga. And if this is a lot of strength for you and it's a little hard to hold, you can drop the knees down to the earth. To come up, use your belly. Inhale, suck the legs towards your hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, onto the balls of the feet. Slide on back. Bend the elbows, Chaturanga. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale onto the balls of the feet, slide back, bend the elbows, Chaturanga. Inhale, suck it up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, release the arms alongside the body. It's almost easy. Alright. So we have a few more things to talk about before we go into our full headstand. One of the things that we need to discuss is what our arms do. Our arms are very important in the asana because we don't want to put all the weight in the crown of the head. That's not so good for the cervical vertebrae. So to start with that, we're going to take a block and we're going to hold the block in between our hands, kind of like we're holding a loaf of bread. And then you want to bend the elbows at 90 degrees so your forearms are parallel to the floor. And then squeeze the block in like you're trying to smoosh it towards its center. And then at the same time, draw the shoulder blades way down the spine. And as you do that, you'll feel your shoulder girdle kind of to strengthen, and that's going to support the cervical vertebrae when you go upside down. And at the same time, lift the crown of the head up. So shoulder blades way down, crown of the head presses up towards the ceiling. And just feel this for a few moments. Memorize this sensation. Can you put your block aside? Second thing that is very important in headstand is where exactly we put our head on the floor. So we don't want to smush the very top of our head down. We actually want to bring the weight a little bit more towards our hairline. So to measure that out, we're going to take the heel of our palm, place it into the bridge of the nose, and then wrap the fingers around to the top of the head, and then tap your middle finger onto the top of the head. And wherever that space is pretty much where you want the weight to be when you go upside down. So remember that space, we'll need it in a few moments. Alrighty, so we're going to go upside down now. So we're going to first approach this from Prasarita Padottanasana A. So come to stand on your mat. I'm going to do it this way so you can see me lift up. And come into a wide stance. You want your feet parallel, maybe a little bit pigeon-toed. Bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward with the crown of the head towards the earth. Your hands come to the floor underneath the shoulders. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward, bringing the crown of the head to the floor. Walk your hands back. Now you'll notice my legs are a little bit too close to get my head to the earth. So I'm just going to wiggle them out until I can get my head onto the floor. Readjust the hands, make sure the elbows are at a 90-degree bend. And from here, we're going to start to take the weight that's in our feet and bring it into our hands and the crown of the head. So we're going to bend the right knee. Just begin to shift the weight forward, lifting the heels. Bend the knee. Plant the knee onto the right tricep. And then just kind of feel this out. Make sure you're still breathing. And then put the right foot back down. Take the left foot. We're going to shift the weight forward onto the toes so our feet get nice and light. Bend the knee. We're going to plant the knee onto the left tricep. Put the left foot down. And let's try that again. So inhale, shift forward so the feet are light. Bend the right knee. Put the right knee onto the right tricep. And then from here, see if you can bring the weight into the palms so much that this left leg just lifts straight out to the side. And if that goes well, see if you can bend the left knee, put it in onto the left tricep, and then extend the right leg straight out. Maybe bring both knees, both triceps, extend both legs, and then come down. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, hands come to the hips. Inhale, press up to stand. And exhale, bring the legs together. Okay, so now we're going to enter a tripod headstand traditionally. And to start that, we're going to come onto our hands and our knees. So make sure you're nice and aligned. You want the wrists right under the shoulders and the knees right underneath the hips. And from here, I'm going to place the crown of the head onto the floor, finding that spot where my middle finger was tapping a little bit earlier. And then I'm going to walk my hands back so my elbows bend at 90 degrees. Tuck your toes under, and then inhale, extend the legs. Begin to walk your feet forward, bringing your hips over your shoulders. And we want to try to stack our skeleton as much as we can while our feet are still on the floor. So when we lift up, there's not as much adjustment we need to make. So from here, just like we did before, bend one knee, put it on the tricep. And then this might be a lot, and you might feel like the other foot is still heavy. If that's the case, put that foot down, do the other side. If you put one knee on the tricep and it feels good and you feel nice and strong through the arms, you're going to take the other knee, bend it, put the knee onto the tricep. Take a moment here, squeeze the elbows energetically together, shoulder blades down. And then to lift up into the full headstand, we want to think like we're sucking our energy up like a straw. So hug the knees in and then slurp the legs up. Coming into your full tripod headstand. And to come down, we do the same thing, just backwards. So bend your knees. Bring the knees towards your chest. One knee down, other knee down. Feet come down, and you rest. Take a few breaths here. So that's a great way to start learning. If you need a wall space, you can always take your mat over to a wall and do the same thing, and it's kind of nice just to have that little bit of support behind you, and then eventually you'll move away from the wall. I'm going to show you another way to come up into the pose, lifting both legs at the same time, and then we get to see why all that Navasana work is very important. So we'll set it up the same way. Come onto your hands and your knees. Plant the crown of the head to the earth. Walk the hands back, elbows at 90 degrees. Tuck your toes under. Inhale, extend the legs. Walk your feet forward towards your face. And here I want to send my hips way back. So think hips going back. And I'm going to begin to squeeze my legs together and lift them up. Coming into Sirsasana. Squeezing my navel towards my spine, my sit bones reach towards my heels. Very important, our elbows squeeze together. And then if you get this far and you want a little side project, you can take this through crow pose. So to do that, you're going to bend your knees, plant the knees onto the upper arms, drop your hips, roll the weight forward towards your nose, and inhale, lift up into Bakasana. We'll put the feet down, rest. And there's one more thing that you can do to train your body to get into headstand, and that's use blocks. So you're going to need 4 blocks for this, and we're going to like basically put Legos here. So take 2 of your blocks, and you're going to put them the long ways on the medium height. So this is the tallest height, this is the medium height. So you're going to take your other 2 blocks, and they're going to go on the lowest height, and you're going to do them the long ways like this. So you have a nice secure base. You want to make them far enough apart so your head can fit on the floor in between the blocks. So again, we're just going to set it up from our hands and our knees. And we're going to put our head onto the floor in between the blocks. And I'm going to tuck my toes under, walk my feet towards my face. then inhale, lift up here. But since I have the blocks underneath my shoulders, it's not so much weight in the crown of the head. I just have a little bit of more support. It actually feels quite light. Down. And you rest. So I give you a bunch of projects to work on to eventually get you into track on the headstand. And last thing to remember is you want to be very careful whenever you're standing on your head. The cervical vertebrae are very delicate, your neck is very delicate, and the bone density builds very gently. And you build bone density over a long period of time with a slow amount of pressure. So it's definitely wise to, when you take headstand, take a moment, stop and breathe, check in, see how your neck is feeling. If there's sensation, that's okay. Any pain, back off. You can work this pose with the legs on the floor, and then eventually over time, when the bone density builds up, you can begin to lift the legs. But it's always a good place just to start with the feet on the floor. And you get more than half the benefits of the full pose, even if the legs don't lift up. So it's totally worth trying. I hope you had fun lifting up into tripod headstand. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you so much. Good luck.